Hey guys, it's your boy Hung and welcome to another episode of Movement of Expression. Now today we are going to be doing a deep dive into a hairdresser named Richie Grissilo, and he is the owner of a salon called Academy Hair Salon in New South Wales. Now I was lucky enough to be an assistant for Frank Olopoulos when he did one of his photo shoots in, I think it was 2018, and I was helping out backstage, and the location for the shoot was actually at the salon. So I've actually been to the salon itself and it's an absolutely stunner. It's an old church that was converted to a hair salon, and if you ever went through to the salon, like, it's just very minimalistic, very earthy and raw. And all I remember is going to the back toilets and just thinking to myself, this is absolute heaven. It was so clean, so crisp. They even have their own sort of backyard as well. But no, it's an absolutely lovely salon. So shout out to Academy Hair Salon. And yeah, without further ado guys, let's get into a bit of a deep dive into the 2020 collection that won Richie Grissilo, New South Wales and ACT Australian Hairdresser of the Year. Cheers. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on another episode. If you guys do like this sort of videos, please make sure you like this video, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, as it would really help out this channel. Thank you so much. Alright, so we're just going to look at some of the credits for the shoot. So obviously the hair was created by Richie Grissilo. The salon is Academy Salon. The photographer, once again, no changes here, Andrew O'Toole. Makeup is Michael Simone. So Michael is also a guy that I met at the shoot, and he is so lovely. Like, I can't even speak highly of him. He said to me, you know, if you're ever in New South Wales, if you need anything at all, you let me know. But he's just so considerate and absolutely beautiful. Stylist is TRAN. So that's all the credits out of the way. Let's have a look at some of the sort of inspos for his collection. So I know lately that I've just been reading a lot of sort of inspirations for the hair collections, and some of the inspirations can be quite long, so I'm just going to shorten it just slightly, alright? So comprised of multi-dimensional hues with hero blue and pinks, the collection plays with shapes, braided techniques and textures to take viewers both underwater and truly out of this world. Alright guys, without further ado, let's go and have a look at Richie Grissilo's collection. Cheers. Okay, so this is the very first image from the collection itself. I don't actually know what the collection's name is called. If you guys do know what the collection name is, just put it in the comments below and I'll change that as well. Wow, okay, look at these layers. So, I'm loving, the first thing that I've noticed with the overall theme is, yeah, there's this sort of real, it's sort of not blurred, but it has this sort of gradient sort of backdrop to it, which with the hair as well, it does reminiscence the sort of whimsical sort of feels as well. But look, I wouldn't really know how he had created that sort of hair. One can only assume that everything was very much curled and teased out, and then okay, so I think the way they created this sort of look was the top half was very much curled, and then they left maybe the midsection out and only curled just the very ends, and then from the bottom bit they also started curling the ends, so that way you had this sort of straight and very teased through the layers. That looks really cool actually. But overall, what I love about this image most is just the conceptual silhouettes. Like, it almost looks like a hat, and then these sort of tier layers. Reminds me very similar to like a Chinese imperialist sort of house. It's got that sort of those triangles through there, but that looks absolutely incredible. And I love the makeup as well. Like, Michael did such an amazing job on it. It's just very soft. They're utilizing a lot of I find pinks and warm colors are very hard to utilize in terms of sort of like makeup. So for him to be able to pull that off is absolutely incredible, because sometimes it can go overboard and look a bit too novelty. So no, I love that. And yeah, like you look at the image itself, and it's not just about the clothes, you know, the main focal point for it is actually the hair. So I really love this. I think it's absolutely stunning. And I love how she's not looking at the camera, you know, she's just looking up into the sky, you know. But no, overall the image looks incredible. I absolutely love this one, definitely. All right, let's get to the next one. Oh, this one's quite cool. I love how she's just feeling very effortless, you know, with her shoulders just kind of like just drooped forward a bit. Yeah, no. And I love this. I love the styling in this. Again, with the sort of rose, sort of pink sort of makeup going through there. She's actually obviously quite pale as well. And so the makeup itself, the thing I find with makeup in photos is that you have to make it bigger, because when you capture it in photos, it looks a bit smaller. So I'm sure that when they created this photo in particular, the makeup would have looked really heavy when you looked at front on, but in the photo, it looks very, very well blended. And then obviously the hair there. So I believe the hair was created with crocodile clips as well. You know, utilizing a bit of gel or something that has a bit of moisture to set the hair. And then as you can see, like the ends have just been slightly brushed out a bit. Obviously lots of hairspray involved, lots of molding involved. Even with the front bit, they might have even put like a some sort of fabric over the top just to hold it in place to set it and let it cool off. But I love the hair, and I love how there's just that, because it's not perfect, is it? It's very disheveled, and I love how everything else is perfect. You have this one strand coming through the front, gives it sort of Michael Jackson sort of vibes, you know? And yeah, like what they were talking about before about, you know, almost defying gravity, right? That to me looks like it could have, it wasn't, but it looked like it could have been like blown up or could have been underwater, and it's just sort of molded in the water as well. But in saying that, yeah, just capturing that picture looks beautiful. And I can see where he's sort of going with the theme as well. No, very well done. Clothing, beautiful. And yeah, what I love about the clothing most here is that it doesn't take away from the actual hair. It still keeps it quite hair as the focal point. I mean, the model looks good, the makeup looks good, the hair, the styling is very minimalistic, and the hair is obviously the hero, right? Alright. Again, gorgeous. I mean, like, this reminds me of a jellyfish, doesn't it? You know, you have those sort of translucent, iridescent sort of colors going through that bob. This is what we call a page boy sort of cut, where it kind of goes backwards, back away from the face, and it gets longer through the back. But I absolutely love it. I love the colors that's through there. I love how there's a bit of translucency through the color. It's not so heavy. And also, if you notice the makeup as well, it's like a dual tone, isn't it? There's the sort of more pinkish rose color, and then there's also the copper color as well, on both separate eyes. And I mean, what glues everything together as well? You know, you got this sort of really real grey gradient backdrop, but then also with the arms here, like that is a very soft tone that matches the eye makeup. Now that whole image looks incredible. And if you go a bit closer to the root area of the hair, I mean, it looks like it's a bit darker, you know, it has a bit of that sort of root shadow sort of look to it. Nah, that's beautiful. Love it. Okay, so a bit of basket weaving here. And yeah, no, it looks great. Let me just see how they created that. So basket weaving itself isn't too hard to do, especially if you have like hair extensions and stuff. But I feel like here, yeah, so they would have worked with, it's chances are it's probably a wig or hair wefts that's just been like sort of weft and then just popped on to the scalp. But no, it looks really cool, and I love how they incorporated eventually braids with it as well. And for each braid that they did, they pulled out a strand just to keep some of those sort of wispy tails going across there, which looks absolutely amazing. My guess is that one, they either had wire through it to bend it up, or either that they had a whole team to hold up the hair, so that way you cut into frame and not see everyone else projecting the hair up. So, but it's a very clever look, and I also love the color tones to it as well. Still going with those sort of pastel. This time it's more towards the, you know, the blue, the baby blue, and also the violets going through here. Now it looks really beautiful. And like, as you can see, the makeup is quite heavy here, but when you look at it as a whole, it doesn't seem that big, does it? And the clothing is just very simplistic, which I absolutely love. I appreciate details like that where, you know, you don't have the clothing that overrides the hair. The hair should be the main focal point of the overall image, and that's gorgeous. Okay, so you have we have this girl, this model here, who has a very high short fringe, and obviously it's like a sort of bob cuts to just below the ears. I think for me personally, because the hair itself is very simple, I mean the colors are beautiful, you know, from like here to below, they've obviously colored to the sort of more warmer iridescent colors, and then having a veil over the top with the blonde. That isn't too hard to do. What you will notice is the makeup. The makeup in the hair matches perfectly, which, you know, adds a bit of harmony to the image itself. Yeah. That's gorgeous. And I think because the hair is so simple, beautiful and simple at the same time, I think they needed a bit more details to the clothing, which is what Cheryl has done here. And that's what I love. Like, sometimes if the hair isn't as strong, you have to compensate it with something else. And in this instance here, it was the clothing. Now that's absolutely gorgeous. Oh, wow. Now this is cool, guys. I absolutely love this image here. So looking at the hair at the moment, she looks very alienish, doesn't she? And the makeup doesn't quite go with the actual hair, but it adds a lot of dramaticness to the overall look. And I love how the hair is just, yeah, it's defying gravity, isn't it? Now look, how they would have went about that, I'm not entirely too sure. My only guess is that they used a lot of gel in it. The hair itself looks quite wet, but how they would have held it there, I'm not entirely too sure. And you can see that the hair has been slightly curled. Whether that's her natural curl or not, I'm not too sure. But sometimes, like for me to be able to create a look like this, I can't do it as cleanly as this, but I feel like there's a lot of mousse through it, and then once you apply the mousse, you can either twirl the hair and just let it dry off naturally, and it becomes a bit crunchy. I believe that's what's happened here, but how they've done it, they've just gone to the next level with it. I don't exactly know how they would have got this larger section here to hold its place. Whether that's been post-production or not, I'm not entirely too sure. But overall, the image looks stunning, and I love how, you know, through the top, it's just sleek, isn't it? It looks, to me, it kind of looks very, something from another planet, something a bit alienish. I love how it's flat through the sides, and you have this sort of wave going through the forehead there. No, I love it. And like, you know, even though that's curled, that's gone a bit more straighter. And yeah, it really does defy gravity. And I love the clothing that goes with this image. I feel like it's a perfect fit for it. Yeah. I think technically so far, this image would have to be my favorite. All right, so let's have a look at the next one. Oh, so we've already been through 6 images. All right, so how about we look at the collection as a whole together and see what our thoughts and processes are. All right, so this is the collection as a whole. I love the color scheme that they've used because I felt like they've really balanced it out with different tones. You know, you have your yellow copper, you have your sort of raspberry pink, you have your iridescence, you have your more cooler iridescence, then you have your warmer iridescence, and then you have blonde. Overall, the image, every single image for me looks like it fits the theme. If there was maybe texture-wise, I would say the last image that was my favorite probably was slightly out of context with the whole collection, only because it's more of a wet look, whereas everything else I felt was more textured but also dry looking. But it's always good to have something a bit different as well. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying it just looks slightly out of place, but as a collection as a whole, I think it's beautiful. And I think what Richie has done with his concepts, amazing. But yeah, for me as well, like, you know, the colors, the hair, even the styling and the makeup, like everything complements each other really well. And this is something that we have to consider when we're doing a collection. So yeah, no, I can understand and see why he was announced the 2020 ACT New South Wales Hairdresser of the Year based on this collection. Well done, amazing. If you guys stayed to the very end of this video, please make sure you like this video. And if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button as it would really help support the channel out. Thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Movement of Expression. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode today as we did a deep dive into Richie Grissolo's hairdressing collection that won him ACT New South Wales Hairdresser of the Year. If you want to see more of his work, I'll leave his Instagram below and also his hairdressing salon's website as well. Guys, thank you so much again, and I shall see you guys in the very next video. Cheers.